Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be doing another one of the Am I the A-hole? I love these. I have a never-ending desire for them because I'm nosy and I love knowing what's going on in other people's lives. I love the drama. I love the hot goss. But if you're new, I'm Sky and here I like to do a little bit of whatever inspires me. So if you end up enjoying the video, feel free to like and subscribe. And yeah, let's just get right into the video. Am I the a-hole for refusing to take an elective exam and escalating the situation to the school district? I love the diverse kind of drama we can get into. I, a high school senior, I'm currently in a standoff with my school administration, and my principal told me today that I won't be successful in college because of how I am handling this. My school is pushing a program where students take a CLEP exam for third-party college credit. This is an elective, non-mandated exam. However, my school sent out a student checklist stating if we miss the exam, we will be placed on academic probation. I asked around at other schools and they weren't taking this exam. Matter of fact, even heard about it before. I am already taking a full load of AP classes. I would very much rather focus on studying for just my APs since I'm already stressed about them. When I asked for the policy justifying the probation threat, I got no answer, so I emailed the district superintendent's office for clarification. Today I was called into a meeting with my principal, assistant principal, and my counselor. Instead of discussing the probation policy, the principal told me that I had testing anxiety, telling me that I should speak to a social worker, and that's why I don't want to take the exam, and that I'm being emotional by reaching out to the superintendent and escalating it. When I stated my opinion that students should be able to choose the college credits that they wish to pursue, they proceeded to tell me that in the future, at workplaces or in college, I won't get to choose what I do and don't want to do, even though the thing that I don't want to do is an elective exam that I have the choice of not doing. Every time I tried to bring the conversation back to why academic probation was threatened in the checklist, they continued to tell me that I was being emotional and talked about how much the test would help me. I ended up tearing up in front of them because of how much they were attacking my character instead of just explaining the rule. My parents are on my side, but the school was acting like I'm being a difficult student for wanting to know why they were making me take an exam that I don't need to graduate. I could see the annoyance on my principal's face every time I brought it back to the academic probation threat. My sister said I should just take the test and get it over with instead of turning it into a big thing. So am I the a-hole for not just taking the test and for going over their heads to the district? There is an edit. They conceded and said that me not taking the CLEP will not affect my graduation. They also mentioned I can graduate right now if I want. Mostly felt like they wanted me to, but I said no. But I'm also wondering your opinion of, do you think that I should ask them what about other students, and if that doesn't affect a graduation, then what does academic probation mean? Also, I'm not going to prom, so I don't know what that means to other students if they don't want to take the test. So are they allowed to participate in school events, etc.? Because a lot of my friends know that I was meeting with the principal, but I told them that I don't have a definite answer for them if it'll affect them in other ways. I said this replying to another comment, but I just wanted to post that here too. Also, for some other frequent questions, do you have to pay for the exam out of pocket? To get a voucher for the exam, you have to take an online course outside of school. After finishing the course specific to the CLEP you're taking, you have to take an online test and score 75 above. This is so much work to take the exam. You have to score a 75% or above to get the voucher. But I'm confused, as if I don't get a 75% or above on the test, does that mean that you also have to pay out of pocket? Were your parents in the meeting with you? Yes, they were. The only other time they met with me alone was when they pulled me out of class to talk to me in the hallway, but also my parents were immigrants, so English isn't their first language. Has the superintendent responded to your inquiry? The chief staff of the superintendent haven't yet, since they are short-staffed, so it may take a while, but they informed me that they are investigating it as of yesterday. What I think about this entire thing is that the school will probably get some kind of money based off of how many students in their school is going to be taking the exam. I really do think that that might be the case, so they're like, oh, but you need to take the exam, you need to do it, because they're going to get some kind of like payout from it. So that's probably why they were so like gung-ho about it and almost like threatening. Like schools can be so like intimidating in regards to that. But I think it was so like utterly like borderline disgusting for them to assume that like this person is not going to survive in the future job and academic world. I feel like that was just so unnecessary and rude. The academic probation threat is insane. Like that has to, like if it escalates any further and like the school district is like going to say that, oh, the school is justified for doing that, I would say bring it to state, because I feel like that's probably going to lean into some kind of like illegal thing for them to do, especially because it would be sort of like a threat on their academic like record. And it's almost like a blackmail. So that's what I think it could turn into. I don't think this person is the a-hole. In fact, I think they are a role model. Overwhelmingly, this person is being told that they're not the a-hole. I wanted to start with this one just because I think it's like very different from like interpersonal conflict that a lot of people have with like relationships and friendships. Am I the a-hole for choosing my best friend over my sister? I have a sister who is 29 and a best friend who is my age, which is 25. We all grew up together and shared everything. We had this big friend group of kids that grew up in the same village as us, and we were all great friends. When we were like 16 years old, we decided to have a sleepover. Unfortunately, I couldn't go. I don't remember why though. The next day, my best friend comes over to my house crying and panicking. I asked her what happened, and she told me that one of our male friends inappropriately harassed her. The story goes she went to bed early because she suffers from chronic migraines, so she left the group to go to sleep. And the other friend, let's call him Meep, went in the same room and laid in the same bed. She was already sleeping when this happened. After a while, she was awakened by a feeling on her behind area. He was trying to put his hand inside her pants, etc. When she realized what was going on, she got up and immediately left the house. She didn't feel comfortable sharing it, especially with the other men in the group, because Meep was known for being the class clown, loved by everyone type of guy. Why is it always those guys? Why is it always the class clown that ends up doing this kind of stuff? Like, what is up with that is that correlation going on? What is that all about? It really just upsets me. After a couple of years, my sister started dating this guy, and my best friend felt she had to let my sister know what Meep did to her because she deserves to know what kind of guy that she's in a relationship with. Okay, period. Okay. I don't know how this can go out of left field. My sister freaked out and immediately believed her and told me. What else can happen? Like, what? I'm afraid of the disappointment that I'm about to read. Meep got embarrassed and admitted to doing it, and my sister felt bad for him because he seems like he regrets it. Oh, it's that sympathy. It's that sympathy. She said that they had a long conversation about it, and he seems like he felt extremely bad for what he did, but they continued dating. I don't understand the thought process. Like, I don't care how bad a person feels about it. It still happened. Like, him feeling bad about it is not going to take away the bad feelings and trauma that was inflicted on that other person. So what does him feeling bad about it have to do? Like, it doesn't take away it. And as far as like this is saying, it doesn't even say that he even apologized to her, which to me still wouldn't make me want to date this guy. That's insane. Like, you're just going to keep dating him knowing what he did just because he feels bad years later. One day, another friend of ours found out what happened all these years ago and asked Meep about it, and he got super defensive and started distancing himself too. And I called my sister because I found out about that, and she snapped at me saying that my best friend is lying about what happened and how she made it all up because she liked Meep and tried to hit on him and got rejected, which never happened. Meep already admitted it to my sister, and my sister knew what he did. So why would she just straight up change her mind overnight and stop believing my best friend? She got traumatized by it and found it hard to trust men and to even have intimate relations for the first time because she felt that she was being violated every time a man tried to touch her that way. I tried talking to my sister and asked her why she decided to stop believing my best friend, and all she says is that we don't know what happened and it's all made up. No one knows me and no one loves me and we are all narcissistic and other things like that. Since then, I've cut all ties with both of them. They've moved to a different country and don't talk to anyone in their life except for each other. Wow. It's been like this for 4 years now, and when they do reach out, it is to ask for money from my mom because they spend all of theirs on weed and other stuff. So am I the a-hole for choosing my best friend over my sister? No. Like, I don't really care how bad a person feels about doing something like that because you can't take away the trauma and the pain and the very evident, like as even stated here, like effects that has on a person just by feeling bad. I feel like a lot of the people that tend to do this with their significant other tend to be more like driven by the idea of being in a relationship, or they put like their partner on a pedestal because they just love them and worship them, and like it's not healthy to do, especially when you are going to deny every single wrongdoing done by this person. I could not live knowing this information and then like look at this person that I'm dating and be like, oh, you're so great, you're so lovely, I couldn't do that. He confessed to it and she still was like, you don't understand, you don't know. Yeah, everybody's saying that she is not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. Choosing to not have a predator in your life is a no-brainer. There's a reason why they're alone. Exactly. Oh my God. If the only way that you are able to happily and peacefully be with your partner is in a different country, completely alone, with nobody from your young youth, then I think that speaks volumes. But however, like there are those specific situations where it's like you just grew up in a really horrible area. So like I'm not talking about that, but with this, I feel like everybody that they used to know knows. So that's why they're alone. Clear, not the a-hole. Your sister chose to defend someone who admitted hurting your best friend, and that says a lot about her values. Supporting the victim doesn't make you disloyal. It makes you decent. Family isn't automatically above everything, especially when they ignore or excuse harm like this. Exactly. Like this is a absolute no-brainer, and it speaks volumes about her morals and values as a person. And also, if she's willing to just so easily throw everything away for a dude, like a relationship, I feel like that says a lot about a person too. Am I the a-hole for not caring about my best friend's failed talking stage? So my best friend, 19 female, has never dated or had even been in a talking stage before. So I, 20 female, understand why it's a big deal to her, but I'm tired of pretending to care at this point. That's so mean. Why is everybody so like blunt? She met a guy at a college formal a few hours away from where she lives. She doesn't go to this college, and they started texting on Instagram DMs. She had a crush on him prior to them meeting, so this was a big deal. Okay, this sounds like something I would be absolutely over the moon for. I would constantly want updates. What do you mean? From the start, he is only texting her like one message a day, but I fed into her delusions that he liked her because it's what I felt I should do as her best friend. That is not what you do as a best friend. I think that's the exact opposite of what you should do as a best, especially when it's like this little that you're basing it off of, to where like you know for a fact that this person probably isn't into her, and you're feeding into, okay, like feed into reasonable delusions to where it's like, oh, like you, like your best friend and this guy are texting like 3 hours every day. Feed into the delusion, like be like, yeah, he likes you, but like when it's this, like you need to be the one to give that reality check, especially since you are somebody that I'm assuming is really close and like is loved by the person. So it would come softer from you to like get that reality check. I genuinely wanted this to work out for her. They text for like 2 weeks, but only a message or two a day. She is FaceTiming me daily to help her reply to him. I'm in my last year of college, so I have a ton of work to do, but I am instead on FaceTime with her all night talking about this guy. Okay, I can understand that, but this is where you saying something would probably help this, being like, hey, I can't talk right now because I have X, Y, or Z homework I need to do. I need to study right now. You just need to be the one to say something, because you can't complain about a situation that you're in when you don't say anything to change it, especially when it's something that you can. You know, like if it's literally just something as simple as this, I don't know why you would let this go on for so long. If it's such an inconvenience to you, you should have said something at this point instead of being like, because you're acting like you don't have a choice except for to like answer the phone call, text back. You do have the choice to say like, hey, I can't right now. And if she were to get upset about it, then that's something that you guys need to figure out, because I do believe that conflict can be really beneficial. Not like huge conflict, but like a conflict like this where she gets upset about it, it would just be you guys learning each other's boundaries, you know? And it would be a conversation of boundaries, especially if you guys are actually friends, which I'm not convinced you like this person. It would just be a conversation. So like you're in a wide barred prison to where you can just slip through it, but you're being, no, you're like stuck in it when you can get out of it. After about 2 weeks, he leaves her undelivered. They haven't texted in about a week, and she still won't leave me alone about it. She'll call me just to say she's over him, but still doesn't talk about anything but him. It's obsessive. Talk about it. Talk about it. Talk about it. Today she tried to FaceTime me and I didn't answer because I'm quite frankly exhausted. So she sends me a video on iMessage dramatically saying how she's deleted her chat with the guy on Insta. Like, I'm sorry, but it's not that deep. Now she's ruined any chance she's had with him to begin with. Do you genuinely think that like based off of everything that's happened, he would end up like coming back around to where there was a chance to be ruined on her end? I'm pretty sure he established that he wanted nothing to do with her from leaving her undelivered for a week or more. So I feel like that last phrase was literally not necessary, and it was sort of like really just tear down her in this sentence. I don't appreciate that. She always does stuff like this when she likes someone. She did not even talk to this one person once, just followed them on Instagram and Visco, I haven't heard of Visco in forever. Then blocked them for no reason one day, telling me she just can't deal with the stress anymore. Like, stress from what? Them literally just following your account? At this point, all I want to do is tell her the truth, that I don't care. Does this make me the a-hole? Edit. I have been a kind and supportive friend to her throughout all of this, and I'm simply at my wit's end. It's difficult to talk to a friend who only wants to talk about a man. I'm not really convinced that you have been a kind and supportive friend throughout this entire thing, because if you're saying like kind and supportive, kindness means having a reality check. Supportive means helping them become a better person and supporting them through that change. I'm not convinced you have been either of those things. Everyone is agreeing. Everybody's saying you are the a-hole. I am at a loss to understand why you are pretending that this person is your friend. Exactly. Like, this person is not friends with this person. You wouldn't be talking about your friend like this. You wouldn't think these things about your friend. Like, you can't sit there and justify to me that complaining endlessly about everything or multiple different issues with a friend is not talking trash. You can complain about something that happened with a friend and like try to get insight, try to get advice from somebody, but there is a really stark difference between doing that and talking trash. Talking trash is when you do it just for fun, just to fill the space, just to complain. for the sake of complaining. That's talking trash. That's not something that a friend does. But it's just completely tearing her down and then like raising you up as if like, oh, how can I deal with someone so immature like her? It's not like you're not friends with this person. You just like probably being around her because she makes you feel better about yourself. You have to have been around long enough for her to like depend on you the way that she is. But because this thing is inconvenient to you, you're suddenly like, well, she was never cool to begin with. She's always been crazy. Is the vibe that I'm getting from this. You are the a-hole. I hear no empathy in this post. Quite frankly, it sounds like you don't like her either. No wonder she has trouble recognizing that in men. Great point. Oh my God. It was not in her benefit to lie to her about believing he liked her. And if you don't care about her and her completely valid feelings about just entering the dating pool, you should have been honest about that too. I cannot stand people that behave this way. She deserves so much better. Literally, like we don't need to sit, like I'm very much on the side of people like actually stating their boundaries. And I feel like the author is not stating their boundaries and is complaining about their boundaries not being held up. Am I the a-hole for throwing away my wife's memory jars? Which that alone, I feel like you are. I feel like the way you phrase it, like I don't think there's a different way that I can look at it. I've been married to my wife, 33 female, for 8 years. She collects empty glass jars, pasta sauce, pickles, jams. She says that they are memories, but she never puts anything inside of them. They just sit on our kitchen counter, windowsills, and shelves. We have about 40 empty jars collecting dust. Last week, our 5-year-old son tried to grab one to keep insects he caught, and it fell and broke. Glass went everywhere, nothing serious, but it scared me. I told my wife we need to throw most of the jars away, but she disagreed. She said that it would be useful for storage or something, and each jar has a memory. She doesn't even know which one to let go of and which to keep. About memories like the pasta sauce from our first dinner in the house, or the pickle jar from when she was pregnant and craved pickles. That's actually really cute. I just couldn't come to an understanding on this, so yesterday while she was at work, I threw all the jars into the bin. I kept 2 that actually had a clear memory she told me about. The rest are gone. That's so mean. Oh my God. She came home and noticed right away. She sat on the floor and actually cried. Then she went to her mom's house. She couldn't even tell her mom what's wrong, but she called me to ask and I told her everything. Her mom didn't take any sides and thinks we could find a way to come to an agreement in the middle. So am I the a-hole for throwing away her memory jars? Do I need to apologize and let her keep more in the future? Does this need therapy? That is so rude. His verbiage. I just couldn't come to an understanding on this. So yesterday when she was at work, I threw all of the jars into the bin. Okay, so just because you couldn't understand it, you deem it wrong and like you should get rid of them? You had to do this while at work because you couldn't handle being able to do it while she was still in the house because she would probably prevent you from, if you have to do stuff behind your partner or friends or what, like whoever, if you have to do it behind their back, you probably shouldn't do it. Just change the location to where like your son can't grab them willingly. And the fact that she noticed right away, it shows that she literally does value these things so much. And you can't even act like you don't know this. I think the a-hole, obviously, apology is required, but it's not going to bring back the jars. Yep, everyone is saying that this person's the a-hole. So am I the a-hole for throwing away her memory jars? Sure are, champ. Definitely the a-hole. Do I need to apologize and let her keep more in the future? Yes, you do need to apologize. Jesus Christ on a stick, how are you even asking this, seeing how upset your wife was? That's also crazy to ask if you need to apologize when your wife is like actually hysterical over it. Just because it doesn't make sense to you, it doesn't mean that it doesn't make sense for them. Sometimes you just need to let people live their life how they want to live it, especially if it is so harmless. This isn't like she's doing a hard drug. She isn't doing anything dangerous. She's not cliff jumping like Bella Swan in New Moon in order to see Edward. She is literally just keeping jars. Would I be the a-hole for telling my wife to go to rehab so she doesn't affect our baby's life? My 26 male wife, 23 female, and I had a baby 6 weeks ago, an adorable daughter. I'm writing this post to see if I'm over-exaggerating or if I'm valid in the way I see things. When I met my wife, I knew she liked to drink. She would drink every night 3 to 4 beers or cocktails on average after work or more on the weekend if she went out with friends. She didn't think that she was an alcoholic because she didn't drink during the day. Thankfully, she never gets nasty when she drinks. She's actually really warm and bubbly and a version I like, even if it's not real. She had a rough upbringing and always talks so hard about how she wants to break the cycle. Her dad left, her mom was mentally ill and treated her like literal trash. She dealt with a lot of flashbacks and I noticed those were getting worse when she would drink more. When she was pregnant, she didn't drink. She struggled in the beginning, but I tried to be as supportive as I could. 1 week after she had her daughter, my family brought over some wine to celebrate. That's when it started again. Now she's back to drinking 2 to 3 glasses of wine or drinks at night. At first, it was a few times a week, but now it's pretty much nightly. I had a talk with her last night and told her how how she can't slip like this back into old habits. She said she's not, and she's just going to relax at night and not get hammered. Then she brings up my occasional party favor usage, which is just a few times years max, which felt like deflecting. So I told her to look into going to rehab, but she said the baby needs her and she can't do that. I have no idea what party favor means. I'm going to assume that it is similar to that of like a flower-like substance. That is crazy if that is the case. I feel like using that at all is like, if it's one time a year, that's still enough for me to be like. One thing I do want to point out, in the third paragraph, thankfully she never gets nasty when she drinks. She's actually really warm and bubbly. You could have ended the sentence there. But he continued with, and a version I like, even if it's not real. So you like her drunk. You probably met her drunk. You probably really liked going out with her, in which she would get drunk at these events. If you want her to become completely sober, you also need to do that. So your few times a year use of a party favor needs to stop as well. To say it's deflecting, it's a valid point. It's a valid point. Like, you can't come to somebody and be like, you need to stop doing this. This is bad for you, when you're objectively doing a harder core drug. And even if it's just a few times a year, you shouldn't be doing that at all because it's illegal to do that. Everyone sucks here. You're parents now. It's time for you both to leave this nonsense behind. She's an alcoholic and you do a hard drug. Both of you need to get your heads right. You know that there are quite a few steps between doing nothing and going to rehab, right? You came on really strong, especially on a touchy subject. There is something to discuss with her doctor, psychologist, therapist. First, you need to figure out what you want. Do you want her to be sober 100% of the time? Do you want her to limit herself to 2 drinks a week? You need to figure out what you are comfortable with and what is reasonable, and whether she thinks that's reasonable. Then, assuming she is on board, you can figure out how to get there. If she is able to stop while pregnant, there's no reason to think she can't stop with good mental health support, again without jumping straight into rehab. Yeah, I completely missed that point. That is a really good point too. Like he said, she has a lot of mental health struggles from her past. It just sounds like she's self-medicating, and he just needs to be more supportive, and maybe they can both go on this sobriety journey together. It will probably be easier for him because it's only like a few times a year. I feel like there needs to be more empathy for this post, but yeah, I think everybody sucks because this isn't really like a good environment for a kid, especially like a freshly born baby to be in. And I agree with her, like she does need to be around for the baby's main development, but if it like comes down to it and she needs to be in rehab, or something happens to where like she needs to be like an inpatient somewhere just to like get, you know, observed and treated properly, then yeah, that will be something that sucks. But if it's for the betterment, it would be better for the kid too long term. But yeah, I do agree, like it's a double-edged sword that she needs to be there, but also like if it comes down to it and she needs to like, you know, go away for a bit in order to get proper treatment, that's what needs to happen. But overall, this is just like, y'all need to get it together. Y'all are parents. Am I the a-hole for telling her I find it weird that she hasn't got any friends? I, 22 male, have a girlfriend, 20 female. We've been together for a year. I love her, but I find some parts of her weird. Like she hasn't had a friend since she was 14. I was her first BF and who she lost her V-card to. She was 19 at the time, so quite old. Are we living on the same planet? That's not old. Yesterday she told me she's never been clubbing and me and her should go. I asked her why she's never been clubbing. Aren't we a bit old now? She said because she doesn't have any friends to go with. Y'all are 20 and 22. Where is this taking place? You can't go to a club until you're 18 for some 18 and up clubs, and you can't go to most clubs unless you're 21, and I'm talking about the United States. So I'm imagining like this isn't the US, because that's a crazy take. And plus he's like 2 years older than her, so like that's not really fair for him to say to her because she's younger than him. Because I've always found it weird, I asked her why she doesn't have any friends. She said because it's not really easy to make them now that she's not in school. And when she was in school, she got bullied a lot. I told her I've met a lot of people who have gotten bullied, but all of them had at least one friend. Were you a bully in high school? Because that was a very like strange reaction to finding out that your girlfriend was bullied. I've asked her if she's never had a friend ever. She said the last friend she's had was when she was 14, but her friend died, and after that she was depressed and didn't put herself out there. And she was already an anxious person around people because of the bullying. I don't see a single issue so far with her. I see every issue with you. That was really sad. But I still said I didn't understand how after so many years, though, she hadn't made one friend. She started crying and say she doesn't know. This is where you stop. You should have stopped before this, but this is where you really stop. I asked if people don't like her, and she said she guesses not. I asked her if there's a reason not to like her and how she does something to make no— Oh my God. Oh my god. I asked her if there's a reason not to like her and if she's done something to make no one want to be around her, and she just says that she doesn't know again and asked why I'm interrogating her. I told her it's just weird that not even one person in the whole world wanted to be her friend. Is there something bad about her I'm missing? She said no, she's just not a very charismatic person, and stormed out saying forget about the club. I've tried talking to her, but she's not responding. I just find it weird. Maybe she's done something wrong, or she's not actually a nice person, because surely someone would want to be her friend, right? Don't try to phrase this like you are trying to protect yourself. Don't phrase this like you're trying to just be an innocent little person that might be caught in a crossfire with a bad person. To be so persistent and be like, oh, that was sad, but I still don't. It's like so dismissive. It's so dismissive. Everything that he is saying is like so condescending to her. Like he is so above her. Oh, I care so much. However, I'm going to keep pushing you and tearing you down in the way that the bullies in your school probably did. I'm going to tear down your self-esteem, and I'm going to ask you if there's anything wrong, to have you look inwards to yourself to try to find something bad, which you probably have done a lot since you were depressed, right? So do that again in front of me right now. This is bullying. He's a bully. This is oh my god. She deserves so much better than him. 19 is quite old. Your whole post reeks of judgment. Just leave this poor girl alone. Everybody's saying that he is the a-hole. I agree wholeheartedly. This is like the most out of touch post I've ever read in my life. You are the a-hole. Break up with this girl so she can find someone who actually likes her. The OP is incredibly cruel. It sounds like she's been through a lot, and the trauma from losing a friend was really hard on her. Leave her alone so she can find someone who actually cares about her, because it's clearly not you. You'd treat her horribly. She deserves so much better. I really hope, like, she's probably a very like sympathetic person too because of everything that she went through. I hope that it's not like he apologized and then she like takes him back. You know, I hope she breaks up with him and that he learns from this, but he most likely won't. Oh my god, like these topped the ones that I did last time, and the ones last time were pretty insane as well. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, feel free to like and subscribe, and yeah, I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.